Today we're doing NBA Imperialism, but each team only has one player. So for each team, we'll be taking their best player, but there are 8 teams that have 2 players tied for their top overall. So they will all be facing off to see who represents the team. Starting off, we have LeBron James versus Luka Doncic. Both these players are a 96 overall. LeBron dominated all game and won 11-6, so he will represent the Lakers. Staying in LA, we have Kawhi Leonard versus James Harden. Both players an 88 overall. It was a really close game, but James Harden came out on top, winning 12-10, so he will represent the Clippers. Heading north to Sacramento, we have Zach LaVine versus Domantas Sabonis. Both players an 88 overall. Zach LaVine dominated all game and won 11-7, so he will represent the Kings. Heading north again to Portland now, we have Anthony Simons versus DeAndre Ayton. Both players just an 83 overall, tied for the lowest overall of all the players in the video. This game ended up being really close, coming down to the wire. Anthony Simons won 12-10, so he will represent the Trailblazers. Going across the country now to New York, we have Karl Anthony Towns versus Jalen Brunson. Both players are a 93 overall. It was Karl Anthony Towns dominating this game, winning 12-7, so he will represent the Knicks. Heading to Brooklyn, we have Cam Johnson facing Cam Thomas. Both players just an 84 overall, and again, this game wasn't close at all. Cam Johnson won 12-7, so he will represent the Nets. Heading south to Orlando now, we have Franz Wagner versus Paolo Banchero. Both players an 89 overall. This was the biggest blowout of the play-in games, with Paolo Banchero winning 11-4, so he will represent the Magic. Heading south again to Miami, we have Tyler Hero versus Bam Adebayo. Both players are an 87 overall, and this is our final play-in game. And yet again, it wasn't the closest of games. Tyler Hero won 11-7, so he will represent the Heat. And that means that our map of players is now complete. Each team has one player representing them, except 5 versions of them. And as always, we have a wheel of NBA teams, and we're going to be spinning it to see which team will be attacking first. And we land on the Sacramento Kings, a team we've already seen play. We come back over to our map. We got our arrow on the Kings, which is represented by Zach LaVine. We're going to spin the arrow, and it points to, I believe, that is just barely John Collins here, representing the Utah Jazz. So Zach LaVine will attack John Collins to start the video. Just like the play-in, all these games will be first to 11 points, and you have to win by 2. The attacking team gets to start with the ball, and the defending team gets home court advantage. Zach LaVine is an 88 overall, whereas John Collins is just an 85 overall, and the overall difference showed this match. Zach LaVine led all game, and while John Collins did start to make a comeback near the end of the game, LaVine ended up winning 11-9. And since Zach LaVine won, he takes control of all of John Collins' land, and that is how this video is going to work until there's only one player remaining, and they are Imperialism champs. Back over to the wheel of NBA teams though, spinning the wheel again. This time, we land on the Pelicans. And the Pelicans are being represented by Zion Williamson. 4 potential teams he could attack here. That points to nobody. I think that's just slightly pointing to Trae Young. So Zion attacks Trae Young. These 2 players are very close in overalls, with Zion being an 89 and Trae Young being a 90 overall. This game was annoying to watch because both teams were wearing red, but Zion had dominated throughout and won 11-6. And Zion picks up a good chunk of land right there. I do not think point guards are going to do very well in this video. It's just hard to beat big men when there's 5 of you little guys. Back over to the wheel. This time we land on the Pacers. All right, so the Pacers are represented by Tyrese Halliburton. 6 potential teams he could attack. Let's see which one it is going to be. He will be attacking the Bulls, represented by Nikola Vucevic. Halliburton coming in at an 88 overall and Vucevic at an 85 overall. This was the closest game so far, going back and forth all game. Vucevic led 8-7. From here, he hit a 2-pointer to take a 3-point lead, but Halliburton answered right back to cut the lead to 1 again. Vooch answered right back after that with another 2-pointer, winning the game 12-9. So Vucevic takes over Halliburton's land. Sorry for if the camera's shaking a bit up here. Every time I move my mouse, it shakes. But our team to attack next will be the Mavericks. Mavericks are represented by Anthony Davis though, and he will be attacking the Thunder, represented by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Two of the top players in the game, with AD at a 95 overall and SGA at a 98 overall, tied for the highest overall in the game. Unfortunately for SGA, this game takes place in blacktop mode where there are no free throws and injuries are off, so AD was actually able to play the full game. Despite all this, the game was still very close. Going past the score limit, AD hit a 2 to take a 1-point lead. He was then able to stop SGA on defense and hit a step back from the post on the next possession to win 13-11. So a nice win for AD right there, beating one of the best players in the league and picking up a bunch of land. And right back over to the wheel, we land on the Rockets. The Rockets are represented by Alperen Şengün, and he will be attacking the Mavs, again represented by Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has the major overall advantage, being 8 overalls higher than Şengün. I realized I forgot to change the court here, so Anthony Davis didn't even get home court advantage, but it didn't matter. The game wasn't close, and Anthony Davis won 11-6. So AD picks up just a small bit of land right there, and the team to attack next will be the Suns. Of course, the Suns are represented by Kevin Durant. Let's see who he'll attack though, and that is closest to James Harden, so Durant attacks Harden. Durant comes in at a 93 overall, the lowest he's been rated since 2K17, but that still gives him a 5 overall advantage over Harden. Despite the big overall difference, the game was very close. Down 7-8, Harden hit a 2 to take a 1-point lead. He was then able to get a stop on defense, following it up with another bucket to take a 2-point lead. Durant answered back with a bucket of his own, but Harden ended the game on the next possession, winning 11-9. So Harden takes control over Durant's land. I mean, he's playing great so far, beating Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant. And attacking next is the Magic. Of course, represented by Paolo Banchero, since he beat Franz Wagner in the play-in tournament. And Banchero can either attack Zion or Tyler Hero. And it will be nobody on the first spin. Let's spin it again. He's going to be attacking Zion. These two matched up great. It was back and forth all game until everything was tied up at 9. From here, one of the 5 Bancheros hit a 2-point shot to win 11-9. So Banchero gaining a lot of land with that win. Spinning the wheel again, we land on the Kings again. We've already seen Zach LaVine play a few times. So let's see who he'll attack next. He's attacking Anthony Simons, who we've also already seen play. This was another really close game, so close that the two teams were all tied up at 10. From here, Zach LaVine got a massive poster over Simons, taking a 1-point lead. On the other end of the court, Simons missed a layup, and LaVine capitalized on the opportunity, throwing down a 540 dunk and winning 12-10. And Zach LaVine takes control of the Northwest of the US. He's definitely the biggest team right now. And attacking next will be the Bulls. And spinning the arrow, Vucevic will be attacking the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are represented by Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has the big overall advantage here, being a 94 overall compared to Vucevic's 85. This resulted in Mitchell dominating all game, keeping a 3 or 4 point lead the entire time. He eventually hit a 2-pointer to win 12-7. So Donovan Mitchell picks up a good chunk of land right there. And attacking next will be Donovan Mitchell. Are you kidding me? All right, let's spin the arrow. And Mitchell will be attacking the Timberwolves, which is represented by Anthony Edwards. Both players are coming in at a 94 overall and both guards, so this should be a close matchup, and indeed it was. Everything was tied up at 10 points. Then Anthony Edwards threw down a crazy behind the back dunk to take a 1-point lead, but Donovan Mitchell tied everything up again with a layup as an answer. From here, Anthony Edwards got 2 unbelievable unanswered dunks to win the game 13-11. So Anthony Edwards takes control of all Donovan Mitchell's land. He's now one of the biggest teams on the map now. But attacking next will be the Miami Heat. Of course, the Heat are represented by Tyler Hero, and they are completely surrounded by Paolo Banchero. So Hero will be attacking Banchero. Banchero is 2 overalls higher rated than Hero, and again, we had a great matchup. This game was all tied up at 9. Banchero was able to get a dunk to go up by 1, then followed it up with a block on defense, and ended the game with a layup to win 11-9. So with that win, Banchero just picks up the southern tip of Florida, and attacking next will be the Timberwolves. Of course, led by Anthony Edwards. We've seen him play already. There's so many possible teams that Anthony Edwards could attack here. We got Jokic, AD, Jaren Jackson, Paulo Banchero, LaMelo Ball, Jordan Poole, Joel Embiid, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think this is the best spot for the arrow. Let's spin it. That is pointing to Scotty Barnes. Will Scotty Barnes finally be the one to get my favorite team winning an Imperialism? Well, the game was actually close, at least till everything was tied up at 5. From here, Anthony Edwards started dominating, taking a 9-5 lead. But never count out Scott Wayne Barnes Jr., except in this case, because he never came back and Ant won 11-7. And unfortunately for me and any other Raptors fans out there, Canada has been conquered yet again. Attacking next is the 76ers. So we're staying in the same area. Still, there are still a lot of teams over here in the East. I always forget that the Nets are here. They're so small. Let's spin the arrow for Joel Embiid. He's attacking Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has a 1-point overall advantage over Embiid, since Embiid is just a 93 overall now. Maybe it was due to the fact that Embiid has barely touched a basketball court in the last year, but Ant won this game quite easily, the final score being 12-6. So Anthony Edwards takes control of even more land with that win. I mean, he's got so much. It's such a weird shape as well, just surrounding so many teams. And attacking next is the Wizards. So we could possibly see Anthony Edwards play again here, and it points to him. Poole attacks Edwards. Jordan Poole is just an 83 overall representing the Wizards, 11 overalls lower than Anthony Edwards. Despite the big difference in overalls, Jordan Poole kept the game close, managing to keep everything tied up at 7. From here, Ant started pulling ahead though, and he ended up winning 11-8. So that is just even more land for Anthony Edwards. He is just dominating this Imperialism. And attacking next is the Memphis Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies are being represented by Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a 91 overall in the game, whereas Ja Morant's only a 90 overall. Again, we have a good chance that he might be attacking Anthony Edwards. Let's spin this wheel though. And he'll be attacking Paulo Banchero. These two matched up great against each other. It was close the entire time, with everything tied up at 9. Banchero got an easy dunk to take a 1-point lead, but Jaren Jackson answered back with a 2-pointer to give himself a 1-point lead. And after a successful defensive stop, Jaren Jackson got an easy dunk to win 12-10. So Jaren Jackson picks up a lot of land with that win. Back over to the wheel though, only 15 teams remaining, already half the teams eliminated, and we land on the Clippers. So James Harden could either attack LeBron James, Zach LaVine, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, or Victor Wembanyama. All really tough players to beat, but let's see where it lands. That is pointing to Zach LaVine. Both these players are 88 overalls, so this should be a close matchup. And while the game did start off close, Harden quickly started to pull ahead. LaVine had no answer, and Harden won 12-7. Big win for Harden and the Clippers there, picking up a lot of land, and now I think they are the biggest team on the map in terms of land area. There's still so many teams that have yet to even play a single game so far, and the Boston Celtics are one of them. So the Celtics are represented by Jason Tatum, and he can either attack the Knicks or the Timberwolves. Let's see where it lands. That lands to the ocean. Let's spin again, spin again, spin again, spin again. Spin again, spin again, spin again, spin again, and finally, he is attacking the Knicks, who are represented by Karl Anthony Towns. Tatum is coming in at a 95 overall, giving him a 2 overall advantage over Karl Towns. He managed to take a 10-9 lead over Cat and put him on a nasty poster to win 11-9. So the zestiest man in the NBA falls to Jason Tatum. Tatum getting a little bit more of the Northeast. And next to attack is the Golden State Warriors. And of course, the Warriors are represented by Steph Curry. He just has this tiny bit of land right here in the West, and he will either attack LeBron or James Harden. It points to James Harden. Curry is coming in at a 96 overall, so he has an 8 overall advantage over Harden. Despite Curry having the big advantage in this matchup, it was Harden who dominated all game. Curry just couldn't hit his shots this game, and the game wasn't close at all. Harden won 12-7. So Harden picks up just a little bit of land with that win. Doesn't really affect his overall size too much. but he takes down a really good player. And the next team to attack will be the Nuggets. So of course the Nuggets are represented by Nikola Jokic. Let's see who he'll attack though. He's attacking Anthony Edwards. Whoever wins this, I think will have the most land out of any of the teams.
Jokic is tied for the best player in the game at a 98 overall. He showed why he's the best player in the game, finally putting an end to Anthony Edwards' winning streak. Jokic won 11-8.
So Jokic is going to take control of all of Anthony Edwards' land, which is quite a bit. He owns like half the map now. But attacking next will be the Milwaukee Bucks. We have not seen them play yet. The Bucks, of course, represented by Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he is attacking Nikola Jokic. I was going to say he can either attack Jokic or Cade, but it's going to be Jokic.
Giannis is tied with Jokic at a 98 overall in the game. So as you'd expect, this was a close one. They managed to go back and forth scoring till everything was tied up at 10. But from here, Jokic was able to score 2 unanswered points to win 12-10.
And Jokic gains even more land. We are down to just 10 teams remaining now. Still a few players we haven't seen play. We land on Jokic again. I honestly don't even know where to put the arrow here so it has an equal chance. I don't think maybe down more. Yeah, I think this is the best spot for the arrow. That way it could land on any of these players. Let's spin it. And Jokic will be attacking Tatum.
This was another really close game. This time, the game was all tied up at 8. Tatum then hit a layup to take a 1-point lead, but Jokic answered back with a 2-pointer to give himself a 1-point lead. And after getting a stop, Jokic scored again to win 11-9.
And that is even more land for Jokic, taking control of the northeast of the United States. And the next team to attack will be the Grizzlies. Another pretty high chance that Jaren Jackson attacks Jokic. Let's see where this arrow goes. Nope, he is attacking the Hornets, who are led by LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo is coming in at a 91 overall, 2 overalls lower than Jaren Jackson, but surprisingly, it was LaMelo dominating Triple J. LaMelo ended up winning 11-7.
And LaMelo picking up a lot of land right there, starting to take over the South. And attacking next will be the Nuggets again. Are you kidding me? Why do we keep landing on the same teams and players? Okay, so this time I can just put the arrow on Jokic's face, and he has a chance of attacking anybody. He's going to be attacking Cade Cunningham, who represents the Pistons.
Cade Cunningham is currently a 92 overall in the game. We finally get to see him play. Unfortunately for him, he has to play the best player in the league, but Cade was up to the task. Going back and forth with Jokic, the game was tied up at 10, and Cade clutched up, hitting a 2-point shot to upset Jokic 12-10.
So Cade is going to go from having this tiny bit of land to having the most land out of any team remaining. Dude, every time I look over here and just see Cam Johnson, I keep forgetting about him. I still can't believe that Cade actually won that game though. But attacking next will be the Lakers. And of course, the Lakers represented by LeBron, since he beat Luka in the play-in. And he is completely surrounded by James Harden, so LeBron will have to attack Harden. This could be huge for LeBron or make not much of a difference for Harden.
LeBron has a massive 8 overall advantage in this game, plus a big size advantage, and he made light work of Harden, beating him with ease 11-6.
So LeBron will go from just having a tiny piece of land in LA to controlling the entire west of the United States. And up next to attack is the Mavericks, which of course is Anthony Davis. We still haven't seen Wembanyama or Cam Johnson attack yet. Put this arrow on AD though, and he will be attacking LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo already upset one big man. Let's see if he can do it again. This time he's facing a player that is quite a bit better, but he still managed to keep the game close. So close that it was tied up at 9. At this point, all 5 ADs had their takeover badges, and that made it pretty much impossible for LaMelo to score on him. AD got 2 unanswered buckets and won 11-9.
So Anthony Davis takes over LaMelo Ball's land, and we kind of have 3 main players now: LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Cade Cunningham. And then we have Victor Wembanyama and Cameron Johnson, who just haven't played yet. So let's see if we can get one of them on the wheel here. And no, we land on Anthony Davis again. We got the arrow on AD. He could either attack Cade Cunningham. He has a really small chance of attacking LeBron or Victor Wembanyama. Let's spin this arrow though. That points to nobody. Spin again. and he's attacking Cade Cunningham.
I'm glad that one of these teams will be eliminated because they both wear blue in game, and with one of them gone, every team will now wear different colors. Again, Cade did really well against a player that on paper should have beat him with ease, but this game, AD's defense was just too good, and AD won 11-8.
So with that win, Anthony Davis is now in control of over half the US and a little bit of Canada. There's 4 teams remaining now. And we land on the Spurs. Finally, we're going to see Wemby play. And he will either be playing Anthony Davis, that is more than likely, but there's a small chance he could play LeBron. Let's spin the wheel to see where Victor will attack, and he's attacking Anthony Davis.
Wemby is a 94 overall in the game, so a 1 overall advantage for Anthony Davis, but Wemby has the height advantage. And usually Wemby does do very well in these types of videos, and he completely smoked AD this game. It was never close. Wemby won 11-6.
So Wemby is going to go from having just a little part of Texas to now controlling over half the map. And we are down to just 3 players remaining. Cam Johnson still hasn't played. So let's spin this wheel to see if he will just make it to the finals without playing. But no, we land on the Brooklyn Nets. And of course, Cam Johnson just has this tiny little bit of land in New York. And he's completely surrounded by Wembanyama. So he'll have to attack Wemby.
Okay, I lied earlier about all the teams having different jersey colors because both these guys are wearing black. And I also forgot to switch the court, so we are still on the Mavs court. But Wemby has a 10 overall advantage over Cameron Johnson, so this game wasn't fair at all. Wemby won 11-5.
And with that win, Wemby picks up the rest of New York and an insignificant amount of land for him. And we're down to our final 2 players / teams. Neither of these teams have ever won an Imperialism on the channel before, but we got to spin the wheel one more time to see which team will be attacking and which team will be defending. Whoever the wheel lands on will be attacking. So the Spurs will be attacking LeBron for the final matchup.
LeBron finally gave Wemby some good competition. It was back and forth all game until everything was tied up at 10. The 2 players then traded buckets to tie the game up at 11. Then they traded buckets again to tie the game up at 12. And with the chance to win it all, with the shot clock winding down, Wemby hit a 2 to win the game 14-12.
So Victor Wembanyama takes LeBron James's land, and he is our Imperialism champ. The Spurs are our champs. It's the first time the Spurs have won an Imperialism on this channel. Here is an Imperialism leaderboard on screen right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace.